Hello, Elite. This is your tutorial on how to use the systems training scoring element, and you can see that I am in your site. I'm under the folder called New Elite Training, and it's called Gabe's 2011 training course here. So this is always available to you at any time, so if you want to reference this at any point, please feel free to go ahead and do that. Now, we started doing our training on subsection 2, and when we did subsection 2, I brought in several frames here from a simple capture point regarding an email. Now, what I also did on this is I took the first slide of 200 and we had put those show me, try me, and test me buttons on that slide. And what I've done in the meantime since our training is I've added additional slides. I've added 4 additional slides. The first slide that I've added sits between the first frame of our capture point and that slide 200, which is kind of our menu page to go into the show me, try me, test me modes. I've also added 3 at the end after the last frame of the email. The system results slide, a sequence failed slide, and a sequence pass slide. So altogether I've added 4 additional slides into the sequence. On that first slide that I've added on slide 410, what I've put here is 2 things. On this page I've put in a brief message that says in the middle of the page you'll be getting the test by clicking on the next button below, and you can see that on this page we do have the next button showing, so that will be displayed. But also on this page what I had to put was this system sequence scoring or systems training scoring asset, and I'll send that over to you as well. You place it on the page prior to the slide that you want to begin your recording on. So I placed it on slide 410, which comes before the first frame of my email. Now it will not show up on this page, and it's very important to realize that, so therefore that's why we have the message that shows up on the page. What this does though is this tells the system to start tracking any sort of training or testing that's going to take place. So the testing and recording of testing is going to take place beginning here, and in the properties you can determine number 1, what is the sequence of slides, how much of it is going to determine your entire grade for the course. Currently we've set it to 100. If you want to make it only 25% of your grade, you can easily change the numbers accordingly. You can determine how many screens, or I should say you can determine the screens and how many incorrect responses will trigger that page to be answered wrong. So if you want to change this number to unlimited, you've got up to 10 here. If they try it and they miss it 4 times, as soon as they miss that 4th attempt, that page will then be counted incorrect. Standard is typically 2. You go through the different properties here, and you can use the color and appearance properties to really control what you want. The number of attempts is in relation to the number of total attempts on that entire sequence. You can put a pass mark in here, so in order to pass this, and they'll need to pass it at 100%. If you want to adjust that and say, you know what, an 80% accuracy is all it's going to take to pass that series of slides, that's fine too. So as you keep going through this, you really don't need to change too much in here other than where do you want to show this, in what mode. And I would recommend to try to keep it in the show it and keep it in the test mode. Okay. Now as we go down here, you can see that the target end slide, I've put in a slide of 420 because this target end slide is going to be the slide that we want the asset to actually appear on with these results. So it starts grading it before the sequence, and then we're going to have it appear after the sequence is finished, and in this case it's going to appear on slide 420. Now if I were to open up slide 420, you'll see that this slide is empty, except it's got a message here for when they land on this slide after they take the sequence in a show me or try me mode. But if they take it in a testing mode, once they pass 409 and they go to 420, they're going to see this particular asset alive and well on that page. Now you can also determine that from this page here on 420 when it shows up, do you want to continue and navigate the learner to an appropriate message page? So if they fail that sequence of slides, it'll say, you know, you got a 75% that's inaccurate, and you failed it, and when they click continue, it'll take them to the appropriate slide. In this case, it's 421, and then they pass, it's 422. And you can have appropriate messages on each one of those. But the key here is the navigation. You only want to make it so that they can reach slide 422 by passing your sequence of slides at an appropriate, accurate level. Okay, so that's kind of the most important pieces there with navigation and controlling the sequencing and so on. Now you can go ahead and finagle around with this more, but it's really important too that the last piece of information is that on each one of these frames here, the element that they have to interact with in the properties, whether it's a click or it's a text input, you want to make sure that you report that as an interaction. Any of the slides that have an interaction on them, that interaction is going to contribute to the overall score. So right now, all these slides have the element reporting an interaction. If they get to a slide where it's not really important that they pass it or fail it, like for instance, maybe they have to click the scroll bar in order to proceed to the next page, you may not want to record that. So in that case there on that page, you would just simply change the interaction and you would not record an interaction, so that interaction itself would not contribute to the overall score. So that is kind of in a nutshell how this is working. If there's any questions, please reference back to this at any time. I did not completely fill this out, so on 421 you want to put a failed message in here, and on 422 maybe you'll put a congratulations pass message in here based on how they did on that sequence of slides. If there's any questions, please give me a call and we'll definitely help you out.